Okay, hi everyone. This is Shivam. If you guys were here for the previous courses, I taught the Java and Python classes, so you guys may know me. But yeah, I'm a sophomore at the University of Washington, just finished my second year studying computer science there. And I'm organizing all of these classes for every single class we have these days. So yeah, Monday we have the Python classes, Tuesday we have the AI ML, Wednesday we have the Java, Thursday is um, the web design with HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So that's what you guys are here for today. So if you guys are here for another class, just make sure you go on this that specific day. But yeah, today we'll get started with web design. Our instructor will be Mitali, so she can introduce herself now.
Hi, I'm Mitali and I'm in high school and I'm gonna be the instructor. So yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, so we can just get started with the class now.
Okay, I'll share my screen so everyone can see the slideshow. So while I'm getting the slideshow up, can everyone private message me on what they think the web is, like the World Wide Web, your definition?
Hi.
Okay, so everyone can just go ahead and private message me on what they think the web is. So web is just the internet and it's multiple computers talking to each other. And we're just going to talk about the different types of computers and how they talk to each other. And yeah, so just go ahead and private message me your definition of the web. If you don't want to private message me, then you can just unmute and then just like say your definition out loud if you prefer that. Okay, so I got a couple definitions. They're right, most of them. Okay, yeah. Okay, next slide. So there are two types of computers. There's the client and server. So the client is your own computer. So like the browser, if you use Chrome, that would be the browser you use. You can also use like Safari or Firefox, whichever. And server is what your computer talks to. This is where all the websites and HTML pages are stored. And your client computer, your computer sends an HTTP request to the server to ask for a specific website or HTML page, which is sent back to your computer so that you can see it. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just unmute and ask me them, or you can type them in the chat, whichever one that you prefer. So this is another website that I have, which I'm going to use an example. So this is basically the whole URL that you would paste into the browser or type into the browser so that it would take you to the website. And HTTP is basically the request or protocol that you type into the browser, which sends it to the DNS. And the DNS tries to find the HTML page and then sends you the corresponding HTML page to your browser. Basically, if you want to access a website, you have to send an HTTP request, which is why almost practically every website name has the HTTP in front of it. The www is the World Wide Web, which is where this HTML page is stored, and Youth Coding Circle is a domain name. So each website is actually stored as a series of numbers, but since we can't memorize these to access them each time, we just give them all a domain name, which we can just type in to access instead, because it's going to be really hard to remember a series of numbers for each website. So it's just easier to have a domain name. And each website has a unique domain name, so that the computer doesn't get confused over which website you want to access if both of them have the same name. So the root is basically when a website has like a home page or another like subpage. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Usually in a menu, there's like different pages inside that website. So if you have this / description, that would be the route, that will take you to that page on the website. Okay, so this is the web lifecycle. Your computer, you basically enter the URL, which we saw on the previous slide, which the HTTP request, the World Wide Web, the domain name, etc. And then it hits the computer server, basically where that is stored. The computer gives back the page HTML page, which is basically the code for that website. And right after the response, the server dies, basically, and your computer shows you the HTML request. And the whole cycle repeats every single time you have a new website you want to go to. At this point, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll answer them for you. Okay, I'll just go to the next slide. So a browser. Now let's talk about what a browser is. I mentioned this earlier. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's on your computer. It's basically what you use to go to a website. Like let's say you go to your Gmail or email account and you use Gmail, then you use the HTTP request to access your Gmail website. It lets you make requests to your servers, and the response renders in the browser, which is basically where you see the website. So go ahead and put in the chat box some examples of servers that you can think of. There's a lot of different servers, and some of my favorite ones are Chrome and Safari. If you guys can come up with more, that'd be great. It'd give you a better understanding of what a browser is. Okay, I think someone said Firefox, Internet Explorer. Yeah, these are all really, really great examples of browsers. So basically, browser is what you use to search things up. So now let's talk about client side versus server side. Someone said Chrome, Safari. Yeah, these are all correct. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So client side versus server side. Client side is basically your computer. That's where all the code is shown, like the HTML code is shown. And server side is the backend. That's where the websites are stored. So the websites that you look at aren't actually stored on your computer, because then that's a lot of websites to store. If you can think of every website you've been in the past, like 1 week, that's a lot of websites to store on one computer. So most of these websites, actually all of the websites, are actually stored on a server somewhere else in the world, and your computer communicates with that server to look for the correct HTML page or website to display on your computer. And it will be displayed on the browser, which is what we were talking about earlier. Okay, mobile app versus web app. I'm sure most of you already know the difference. Mobile app is basically what you use on your phone, and a web app is like a website. So there's no server involved with a mobile app. It's all on your phone, which is completely different from a web app, which are on the World Wide Web, and your data is not personal. So yeah, everyone who has a phone knows what a mobile app is. it's just important to note the difference between them, which is that on mobile apps, there's no servers like involved with the exchange of data. At this point, if there are any questions, again, just ask me and let me know if I'm going too fast. Most of this information is pretty, it's going to be repeated throughout the classes, but this is just some basic stuff you should know about, like how websites work and the different, the different processes that are used to like make websites and stuff. So just let me know if there are any questions, because I don't want you guys to stay confused. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next slide if there are no questions.
Why do you need www at the beginning?
Because that's where the websites are stored. The www is www. It's the World Wide Web, and websites are stored on the World Wide Web, and that's just where you access them from. The actual websites are stored on the servers. It's just you can access the servers through something called an IP address. So that you need the www from. It's basically where you access it from.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna explain what a server side is again. So there are two sides when there's like exchange of websites, the client side versus server side. Server side is the storage area for the websites. As I mentioned earlier, like you can't store all the websites on your computer because that will take up a lot of space. So it's important to store them in one place where everyone can access them from, which is called a server. I know some of you guys already like know what a server is. It's basically like a really big computer where different websites are stored. Sometimes these websites share servers with other websites, but a website that takes up a lot of space usually has a server just for itself. Okay, so those are all the slides I have. Now we're just gonna, I'm gonna have you download something where you can write your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code. I don't know if any of you guys have used an Sublime Text before, but we're going to download it and we're going to use it to write a little bit of code in the future. But today we're just going to download it because I want you guys to get a feel of how to use it. So on your browser, I'm using Chrome, you can search up Sublime Text 3 download. And then click on download Sublime Text. Sublime Text has its own website, which you can download it from. I'll share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. I already have this application, so I'm not going to be downloading it, but I'll show you guys how to download it. So you just search that up, and then you click on the first link. And then there are different versions depending on which computer you have. Since I have a Windows, I'm going to download the Windows 64-bit. So just click on that link to download it. If you have an Linux, you can use that one. So yeah, there's different versions depending on which computer you have. Make sure you download the one that corresponds with your computer, because you don't want the wrong one. So just let me know once you're done. You can private message me. I'm also going to open up my Sublime Text so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, some of you already have Sublime Text, which is great. It's a great place to type code. You can use Sublime Text to code anything. It's not only for one language. And if you have a computer that's not a Mac, Linux, or Windows, you can use an online editor like Replit. or there's also other editors. You can use that instead. So just for these classes purposes, of course, if you're gonna make projects in the future, it'll be like easier to use an editor like Sublime, but for now, Replit should work. Someone recommended Caret, C-A-R-E-T. You can use that editor too if you don't have one of the computers that was listed. For this web development class, we're only going to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which are the basics that you need to know how to create a website. Of course, there's other methods you can use, and if you're interested, I can even like send you links at the end of the classes if you want to learn more about the different ways to make websites. But for this class, we're only going to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so I'm gonna go over downloading Sublime again. If you guys already got it, it's great. But I think there's a few people still struggling, so that's okay. I'm just gonna go over the process one more time. So Sublime is a text editor. It's basically somewhere you can write code, you can save it as files, and then you can run them. So basically to download Sublime, I don't know why it stopped sharing, sorry. You go Sublime, text, or you type that into your browser, and then the first search result is the Sublime Text website. This is where you can download all versions of Sublime Text. And depending on the type of your computer, make sure to download your computer's type. I have a Windows, so I'm going to download the Windows 64-bit, and I already have that downloaded. If you have a MacBook, you can use the first one, and if you have Linux, you can use the last one. So there's different options. Make sure to pick the one that you have. And if you want to know more about the different versions, you can scroll down and read about it. This is the most recent one, and that's the one with the most updates and new features. So that will be the best one for us to use. So that's the one we're going to download. Just any of these 4 options.
I got Sublime Text and then I tried to run the code, but I didn't really know how. So will you be teaching us how to run the code?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer process than if you would use an online text editor, but it's really important to learn how to do it. So I will go over that. Don't worry.
Okay.
When I first started, I had a lot of trouble with it, but
Yeah.
once you get it, it's super easy. I will go over
Okay.
it. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. If you don't want to use Sublime, you can use Replit or any other text editor online. Someone recommended Caret, C-A-R-E-T, which is also a great editor. You can use that either. Also, sorry. Yeah, you can use either one you want to use. Once you guys finish downloading Sublime, and you guys can also play around with it a little bit to see what it looks like, just let me know, and so I can move on to like the next part of the lesson. Okay, I think some people are finished downloading it and they're just like checking what it's like. So just let me know once everyone's done downloading it and I can start showing you how to write HTML code. Okay, I'm gonna show everyone how to make a new file in Sublime. So just click on File, New File, and then you'll have an untitled file right here. And we can just type some HTML code in it. But I already have an example HTML file here. So this is, you need a doc type HTML because otherwise the file won't be able to run the HTML code. And this is the different sections of the file. So there's the head, which is basically the top of the, this is basically the head. And the body is what is like actually going to show on your website, like the text or images or whatever you put in the body. So to run it, we can save it as a name, like just name it anything, and then you have to put a .html at the end. That's how the file will know that it's HTML code that you need to run. And there's different endings for each file. In a CSS file, there's a .css, and for Java, there's a .js. So if you don't put the correct ending, the file won't know which type of code you're running. Okay, I'm gonna zoom into my page there. That way you can see the code. Like I said, this is the doc type HTML, the head, and then the body. So H1 is a header, basically makes the text look really big, like the top of a paragraph. And the P is what you use to write a paragraph. You basically write your paragraph inside the P tag, and then it'll be like a smaller text than the header. So the tags in HTML, basically you have an opening tag, which is just the less than sign and the greater than sign, and inside you write which type of selector, like H1, paragraph, image, whatever, like what type of text you want to display. And then for the closing, it's like this, it's exactly the same except for the / which tells it that it's a closing tag. If you don't have one of the tags, then there'll be an error and it won't run. So you have to make sure you have an opening and closing tag around the text or image or whatever you're printing out. The same goes for the paragraph selector, and you can see that it's the same with body, head, basically in every like type of data, I guess, you have to have an opening tag and a closing tag. So now to run it, I can go to my file explorer. This is my file explorer, and I'm going to search example.html. So here is my example.html file. You can click on it, and then here you can see that my header was Mitali, that's my name, and it's bigger than the text that's used for the paragraph. And basically the color is what I use for CSS, but you can ignore that for now. I'll teach you how to do CSS probably in the next class because there's a lot of HTML to go over. So I'm going to show you a slideshow with more information about HTML. And we'll finish the slideshow next class because, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of HTML that you need to know when you're coding or making a website. So until then, you guys can try to type some HTML code and try running it and see what it looks like. And here is my screen. I'm going to show a slideshow. And okay. So basically, I'm going to go over some simple HTML commands. The CSS command I'm going to go over next class because there's a lot of HTML. So there's just some facts about HTML. Its full form is hypertext markup language, which is basically the basis of a website, like the basic content, like the images, text, and links, stuff like that. It's sometimes assisted by cascading style sheets, which is CSS, and JavaScript. To make it look more appealing to the user. So CSS adds like color, font, and basically different styling methods to make the website look better. Yeah, so here are some simple HTML commands. So like I mentioned earlier, there's an opening tag and a closing tag for each command. So there's a paragraph header. This is a hyperlink, which is basically you can use it to link to another website. And images, that's pretty self-explanatory. You just I'll show you how to add images to your website. If you're making a file in Sublime, you can name it anything. You can just go ahead and name it class1.html for this class's purposes, but in the future, you can name it anything that will help you remember what it is. Like if you're making a website, for example, you can name it the name of the website, .html. It's really up to you. You can name it anything. So HTML syntax. Again, like I said, remembering the start tags and the end tags are really important because otherwise it's not going to run if you don't have one or both. So when you're saving the file on Sublime, you have to go to File and then Save As, and then it'll come up on your File Explorer. And you can just name it example.html. Like I mentioned, you have to have the .html, and you can name it anything. I just named it example to show you. And then you just do save. I already have it, but that won't show it for you guys. So, yeah. Okay, so here are some more syntax for HTML. So there is an email hyperlink. You can enter your email, like let's say you're adding contact page for your website and you want to put in your email. You can do that too using the email hyperlink. And then there's most of these you don't need to know, just small text, big text, italicized text, and bolded text. It's basically the type of text or whatever data you want to display on your website depends on the tag. If you put like a header text for a paragraph, your paragraph's gonna look bigger than normal. It's a simple error to fix, but it's just like something you should be careful about. If you want, I can send this link on the group chat and on the chat, and then you guys can look at it if you want more examples of like different HTML commands. Okay, so we're gonna go over writing like CSS next class, and for this class, I'm just gonna give you one assignment. So in the body, like I did here, just make a header with your name and one fact about you in a paragraph on HTML and run it like I showed you. If you need help running it, I can help you. Just unmute or private message me.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Okay, so for the last 15 minutes or 14 minutes, I'm going to give you an assignment, which is basically go in your Sublime, make a new file. You can name it anything. Write some HTML code, like using a paragraph header or any other tags you want. Write your name and one fact about you. I'll show you what I did, but I don't want you guys to copy me because I want you to learn how to do it, but I'll show you what I did and then you guys can get like a reference from that. So this is what I did. Remember, you have to have the doc type HTML, all these head tags, title tags, and this is what's gonna actually show up on my website. So this is my name and this is the text that I put. This is not an interesting fact about myself, but you guys can write that.
Someone's asking how to run their code.
I tried saving my file, but it said that there was an error. So do you know what I should do? Like it said unable to save, and then it said the file name that I named it, and it said error, permission denied. Like what should I do?
Did you use the right ending when you were saving the file? Did you put .html?
Oh no, I put .java. Is that okay?
That's like the ending tells a file which like code that is in the file. So you need to have the right ending. So if you can change the file name, that'd be great. Just change it to your name dot like whatever it was already named .html instead of .java.
Oh, okay. I saved it as .java because I coded it in Java.
Um, y- um, I think it's a different ending for Java. I don't think it's .java, but I could be wrong. But since we're doing HTML code right now, you need to have the .html ending.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So a lot of people are asking how to open the file. Once you save it, you can go to your file explorer and then just click on it. And then it should open up in your browser. I think on some computers it's called a Finder. If you have a Windows, it's a file explorer. So yeah, just click on it and then it should open up in your browser if the tag is correct.
Will you go over how to add an image?
We're most likely gonna go over like image and links next class because we're almost out of time. And we're also gonna learn how to add CSS. So once
Okay,
you're done, you can go and, sorry, what? Can you repeat that?
Never mind.
Okay, once you're done with that, you can just add more text if you want. Or you can like try other tags like image or links. And yeah, someone said if you want to add an image, you can use that tag. But if you don't know how to add an image address, you can either search it up or we'll definitely go over it next class. Okay, so we have just a few more minutes left. But yeah, if you guys finish the name and fun fact about yourself, you're basically done with the class. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me that too. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions.
Thanks.
No problem. You're welcome.